Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are analysing the FA Cup quarter-final between Newcastle and Man City. Newcastle switched to a 5-4-1 to try and contain Man City, which worked for them in their 2-2 draw earlier in the season. Man City also tweaked their formation to a 4-2-3-1 from their normal 4-3-3. David Silva operated in behind Newcastle's midfield with Gundogan and De Bruyne creating a double pivot. This meant that Man City's offensive organisation and structure was slightly different to what we normally see. Sterling and Mahrez stay high and wide, spreading the defence for Silva and De Bruyne to attack the half space. With the tweak in formation, it was Mendy and Walker providing the width. Sterling, Mahrez, Jesus and Silva create a narrow front four diamond. The aim behind this was to create a 4 versus 3 against the centre-backs. Newcastle defended in a low block with a very narrow midfield, trying to block the passing lane centrally. They aimed to force City to play wide and defend crosses into the box. Newcastle defended well in the first 15 to 20 minutes. The problem with their shape was it left Andy Carroll isolated up front. Every time they won the ball they had nowhere to go with everyone behind the ball. Man City had 88% of possession in that period as Newcastle struggled to build any attacks. Newcastle looked to use Andy Carroll's aerial ability to win long goal kicks and get them higher up the pitch. Their midfield were tasked with winning the second ball. The wingers would push beyond Carroll for flick-ons. Silva was the main target for Man City as he was finding good pockets of space in behind Newcastle's midfield. Initially Man City struggled to get the ball into Silva as Newcastle's midfield were narrow, blocking the passing lanes from Man City's double pivot, forcing Man City to go wide to the full-backs. As the first half wore on, Man City were able to find Silva more regularly, either through a pass wide then quickly into Silva, or through a pass into Mahrez or Sterling, who laid it off into the path of Silva. Newcastle were very disciplined defensive, although Man City were gradually increasing the pressure on them as they dominated the ball. With Newcastle playing the way they were, the first goal became important. If Newcastle could get the first goal they could carry on sitting in and look to hold on. Man City were able to get the first goal through a penalty which forced Newcastle to change their approach. Newcastle started the second half in a 4-1-4-1 with Shaw pushing up into a holding midfield role. They looked to engage Man City much higher up the pitch, especially centrally, with Hayden and Longstaff pushing on to the double pivot of Man City. It didn't take Guardiola long to adjust as City reverted back to their normal 4-3-3 with Silva and De Bruyne as 8s. This created a 2 versus 1 against Shaw as the holding midfielder. As the game approached the last 30 minutes, Newcastle pushed up higher and looked to press more as City looked to play out from the back. Newcastle were able to force an error from Otamendi, leading to the Gale chance. It really showed that you have to take your chances at the top level, as it won all the game and momentum would have completely shifted. Newcastle could have looked to sit back in their shape and looked to counter if City overcommitted going forward. It showed as Man City scored less than 5 minutes later to finish off the game. Newcastle press high again, but this time City are able to beat the press with an excellent diagonal ball from Laporte to Foden. Fatigue may have been a factor, but Shaw doesn't get back into position to stop the forward pass from Foden and allows Foden to find Sterling. Joelinton does well to get back and looks to close down Sterling. However, his angle of approach makes it far too easy for Sterling to cut inside for the shot. Joelinton should have looked to force Sterling away from goal onto his weaker foot. With Man City 2-0 up, they were able to see out the rest of the game, keeping possession and playing the ball through the thirds. City are very good at finding solutions to moving the ball forward and often are able to find the man in space. We have taken a few examples from the last 20 minutes here. Silva is free in behind as Hayden and Joelinton look to press Cancelo. Hayden's cover shadow is blocking the pass directly through to Silva. Cancelo is able to play the ball to Foden, who turns it round the corner first time to Silva, who is able to collect on the front foot and drive forward. Newcastle are very narrow to stop any passes through to Silva and Sterling. With Sterling tucked in, there is lots of space for Mendy to run into. Such is Mendy's timing of the run and pace, he is able to get in behind the defence from one simple pass. Newcastle's midfield again do a good job of blocking the passing lanes through to Silva and Sterling, who have both found space in between the lines. Jesus recognizes this and comes short to provide a bounce pass into Silva's path. Silva is now on the front foot with Newcastle's midfield bypassed and out the game. Walker is able to join and creates a 2 versus 1 with Foden on the right. Liverpool have been the standout team this season and have deservedly won the title. Man City and Liverpool have been miles ahead of the rest of the league the last couple of seasons and look set to compete again next year. Hopefully with Chelsea's new signings they will be able to join them and make the title race even more competitive. Thank you for watching.